Or like after we're done getting all these people and the state board of elections tells us, hey, what's the thing that you need to do and what you need to send in, which, by the way, just to let you know, the 30 days has started and they still haven't told us what you have to send in yet. They're doing that tomorrow. They haven't even started yet. So we have to wait till tomorrow to actually start calling people. But right now we can research what their phone number is, what their Facebook is, what all these things is. So when somebody is reaching out to them, we can do that. And also keep in mind with this 30 days is it's probably going to be something where you have to send something physically in to an office in a county, right? And these people live around the world, right? It's probably going to take more than, I don't know, a couple hours to send international mail, So what we really want to do is just have people in this community like do something, right? If you have time, literally whenever. I've seen somebody in these calls in this Discord just grinding out like people on an Excel spreadsheet for the last 24 hours. There's been people in there all the day. Now, I haven't been awake the whole time, so I had to get somebody to check with me if it was 4 a.m. or not. But they have confirmed that they were in there. So, which I wouldn't do. But we've had people grinding out. There's a leaderboard if you are crazy competitive and you want to do stuff. This is also how I know that PV is doing the most, and by far the most out of any other group. If not, we're basically the only ones trying to defend democracy right now.
I'd like to add on to this, if I may, very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the past few streams, I've been giving a lot of "it's so over" talk, and I stand by it, but I want to clarify what I mean by that. What I mean is that we are entering a period of relative non-resistance on an institutional level to the Republicans. What I don't think the Republicans are going to be able to do is completely suppress political resistance in this country. The idea of the Republicans managing to make 100 million Democrats or whatever, not that, the idea that the opposition could be suppressed that thoroughly, I don't believe it for a moment. I think that's a ridiculous thing to assume they're capable of doing. I don't think anyone could do that, no matter how dictatorial. I don't think they didn't do it in Hungary. They couldn't do it in Russia. You have to do North Korea level shit, and we're not even remotely close to that. The reason it's so important to get involved in stuff like this is because eventually the conditions for the collapse of this regime will emerge. It could happen next year. It could happen next month. It could happen 5 years from now. And stuff like this forms the bedrock for that action when it happens. You have to preserve civil engagement, because if you don't, who's around when the opportunity presents itself? No one is. You have to keep engaging. Now, the Trump administration isn't going to be going after every phone banker, every canvasser. I don't think you need to worry about that at all, okay? What I think you need to worry about is when the Trump administration starts to trip over itself, popularity declines further, economy stumbles, it gets worse and worse and worse for them. They're less capable of doing the things they want to. This is the early blitz. What happens a year from now? What you need to be worried about is, where will you be when that opportunity presents itself? This is but a cornerstone in that process. If they get away with this, they'll get away with more in the future. If they don't get away with this, we'll be able to keep them from getting away with more in the future. That's all. I just want it, like, momentum builds. It's very important. There's never a reason to disengage.
If you remember, I think you were early on the stream, you talked about Ukraine, right? Mm-hmm. Like before they had Euromaidan, they had 2000 and 2008, right? They had like things where the government had to respond to the people and they had to do something. But then at some point, the government had done something so crazy and the people had so much on the ground effort that they had to respond. He had to leave. The fascists had to flee. Right? And when you're on the ground doing stuff, when you're calling people, when you're trying to defend your own vote from being taken away, right? That's the people who we will be looking to, right? They'll be looking to us for us to change stuff, right? Instead of random institutional liberals, right? Random institutional liberals doing nothing. They'll be looking for people to do something, right? And we want to be those people. We want people to be like, oh, who's going to do something to fight this literal guy who's so stupid he's crashing the economy while saying he's saving it, or as evil, whichever one you want to believe. And they'll be like, okay, well, who's going to do stuff? Well, Progressive Victory is doing stuff. We're doing stuff with literal minimal money, only a random community coming out to help us. Like, we are literally on a shoestring budget, and we're doing more than most Democratic parties locally. Right? If not like most elections, period. And so like whatever you can do to help, whether it's like your time, like if you want to donate to help out other people, give their time, if you want to literally do anything to help out, like it is so much, I cannot explain how how effective it is
Also,
by doing this.
and I've pitched this before, but I do think it's very important to remind people, it is deleterious to your mental health to engage consistently with negative political news while not doing anything about it, you know? I mean, even people who, you know, the homelessness crisis in America is getting worse with time, yes, but there are people who go out there and volunteer at soup kitchens, and they do feel better after they do so. Encountering the problem is, if you're not part of the solution. You all watch me, that's why you're able to hear me right now. I hope you're doing something with that. I mean, I stream, right? That's my engagement, you know? I don't go outside beyond that. I do my civil service. This is my community service time, talking to you people. But a lot of you turn off the stream and then you do what? You play video games? You might be playing them right now. I just know a lot of you people are suffering from the adverse mental health effects of engaging with a lot of really negative stuff and not doing anything with it. I've only gotten positive reports from people who have done this, okay? Put some work in. Just check out the link. It's good.
Yeah, like keep in mind, remember what just happened, right? Remember like at the start when like Trump and Elon Musk were like buddy buddy, they're like tight, right? Elon Musk loses one election, gets mogged by the entirety of the progressive wing in one state. Progressive Victory was there as one of the biggest groups of people knocking doors in that state, right? People around you were the ones doing that to kick Elon Musk basically out of government, and now everybody hates him, right? So keep that. There's already stuff that you see has already changed what the Trump administration can do by people on the ground doing stuff, right? So imagine what the next thing would be. Imagine the next person that has to get kicked out, the next person that has to go, the next thing they have to drop, right? And every single inch that we get is another inch that we get to defend our democracy, right? That's like what I mean. That's what we fight for, right?
Yeah.
Why would we fight for anything else?
And the fact that a bad result in the Michigan Supreme Court election could essentially, you know, pull somebody like Elon Musk from his throne. There are consequences, even for them. Not as many as there should be, but there are consequences. Is there anything that you'd like to add on that we've forgotten to address thus far before departing?
This has been a great stream, just like figure out what's going on. And if people are just watching Vosh, right? People are just doing something, just relaxing, right? If you're playing that video game and you're like, man, just like you said, you're playing that video game, maybe I don't know what else you would be doing, okay? Think about this. All you have to do is edit a cell on a spreadsheet or call somebody randomly, right? It's not like it's that much work. And the other thing that you can do, right, is if you are like, man, I really don't have time. I really have to like do stuff at work. I don't have time. There are other people who don't have the money to or time themselves to do stuff like this. They don't have that. And if you could donate to help those people give their time, right, that would be another thing that we would want people to do. You get a cool card in the mail if you donate, and you get to do a bunch of cool stuff as well, like talk to people higher up in PV, make sure that you get to go to exclusive events, stuff like this, where from my perspective, if you're helping out somebody else doing it, it's just as good as doing it yourself. Because keep in mind, if you're in that soup kitchen, right, the people who give the soup to the soup kitchen are also people who are important, right? Just as people who are helping give the soup kitchen out, right?
PV maintains a ruthless caste hierarchy, and your soul won't make it to heaven unless you're up in the upper tiers, is what my friend here is saying, and of course, it's true.
I cannot deny these allegations. There may be members of the chat, for example, that may be I don't know how to explain this, a higher tier of person, maybe. I'm not, maybe there might be some confirming or denying it. These are things that I've heard, but I don't know. There's not really anything else I have to say. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you taking the time, and I have every confidence that we're going to win this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
have a good one. In all likelihood, I'm not going to have a good one, but I appreciate the sentiment. The soup kitchen as evidence feeding people helps. I'd like to see stats on the effectiveness of phone calls changing political views. Vorg, you misunderstand. It's not about changing political views. It's about mobilizing people who already agree with you to vote. Much more effective. In some rare instances, you can change people's minds by canvassing or phone banking, but that's a 1%, fraction of a percent. What it's really about is just getting people out there. That's the effective part. That's the important part. And it works.